Now let's go to the next topic, geolocation. Geolocation, it's a very interesting topic. I'm pretty sure that when we say this word out loud over here in the office, a couple people have seizures and we're not, because it's a very, very hard problem to solve. So basically, the idea is that you have a file that already has the information about where it's supposed to be in the world, and we want to locate that in a three virtual space in the 3D virtual space in the right spot. Okay, on that geolocation. There are a lot of different things related to that, and attributes and properties and aspects that we need. It goes on a case by case idea, but using the Revit example over here, basically you have a file that has a point on that file that you know the coordinates for that point in a georeferencing system, right? So those coordinates are usually described as northing and easting, or latitudes and longitudes. And the georeferencing code will be dependent on the location where you are in the world. Okay, so the idea is that you are able to bring in that geolocation into cmBuilder, so your models are going to be placed accurately where it's supposed to go on that virtual 3D space. Okay, so concepts that we need to discuss before we move forward are the different concepts of location points. So every 3D model that you import into cmBuilder, we have one of these placement points. Okay, actually we have all of them, but for IFCs, you're gonna have an extra one. So basically, the project origin is defined by how that model was exported, right? So in cmBuilder, you're gonna find when you're locating a model, you're gonna find over here, let me go back one step. When you're locating a model, you're gonna find these options over here on the top. So these options that we have: project origin, site origin, bounding box center, and user origin. And when I start clicking through these, you're gonna notice that these handles are gonna show in different spots. Okay, so basically, these are different location points that you might have the information about the geolocation of that or not. Okay, so the project origin means it's the basic origin point of your model, and it's defined by your export properties. Okay, so this is a screenshot from Revit. Basically, in Revit, you can select which coordinate base you're using when you're exporting that IFC file. Site origin is just for IFC files, and basically is whenever you have a project origin in several different sites on that project, and each one of these sites will have its own origin. So sometimes you can export an IFC file that has kind of like this adjacent origin system. Okay. Bounding box center, it means that this is going to position the origin in the handle on the center of a box that contains all of those parts. So every part in cmBuilder, there is a virtual box that contains that whole part, and the bounding box center is going to be exactly in the middle of that box. So you see over here, it's kind of in the middle of my 3D model. And the last one, the user origin, is a temporary one that's going to be defined by the double click that you do. So if you double click in different locations, that handle is going to show up in different locations. Okay, so these are the different location points that every 3D model will have inside cmBuilder, and we're going to use one of them to do our geolocation. Okay, so geolocation, I'm not going to cover everything that we need to know about geolocation in here. I just want to show you the basics. Okay, so there are a couple of things that we can do with our geolocation. So the first one is the automatic geolocation that will only apply to IFC models. Sadly, I cannot show a 3D model over here because all the models that we have available in our database over here are customers' models, and I cannot show them in this workshop. Okay, but if you do want to talk about your model specifically, please reach out on our support center. It will be happy to help. Okay, so basically the IFC geolocation can be automatic, and this happens whenever you have your lat long for your model defined on the WGS84. This is something that's working at the moment, and we plan to have that automatic geolocation for all the georeferencing systems. But at the moment, it applies only for models that are located on this system, and if the bounding box center is inside of your map tile. So a situation where the bounding box center is not going to be inside of the map tile is that if you have a 3D model that has a building over here and a building over here, and maybe your bounding box will fall in this part of here. So it's not going to show up in the center of your map tile. So that automatic geolocation won't work if that's the case, okay? The second geolocation method is the embedded one. So basically every model will have, like I said before, an origin point that you might know the coordinates for that origin point. So it can be applied to IFC, FBX, and step files that are imported into cmBuilder. And basically what you need to do is that you need to know which coordinated system you're using and what is the location of one of those points that I mentioned before, the location points. What is the location of that in that georeferencing system? So if I'm bringing this model into cmBuilder, and for example, I use the project origin over here. So you see how my project origin is super far away from this. So if I know the georeference system for this model, I can apply this on my project properties by clicking over here on project settings and then adding a new georeferencing system for this project inside cmBuilder. I know it sounds complicated for a lot of people right now, but it's just because your location is a complex subject. Okay, and again, I'm showing just like a couple of overall ideas, and if you guys need help, please reach out. So basically, I can add any georeferencing system over here in the Word. So let's say which one is this one over here that I was using as an example. So MGA 55. So if I type over here MGA, I'm going to see a lot of different MGA files, and then I can select MGA 50 file in 55 and use this as my georeference, a new georeferencing system for this model. Cool. So I'm going to delete this guy right now because it's in Australia and it's not where we're looking at this building. And if you know any of the coordinates of those location points in that georeferencing system, you can apply that in cmBuilder and your model is going to show up in the exact same spot where it's supposed to be. There's one complexity about this is that the Earth curvature affects the geolocation system. So right now, we don't have like the tool to fix that right away, but it's coming in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, you're going to see a little button over there that will calculate that delta of the Earth curvature, depending on how far your model is from the origin point. Okay. Cool. So this is step number 2. And the third step is for you to do manual locations. I put it over here that it applies only to GLB, but it applies to any model, but the GLB is the only model import that you have that doesn't have the geolocation system embedded into it. So basically what you do is you import a GLB file that has an origin, and you know what are the coordinates of that origin, just like the other ones. But the difference in here is that your geolocation is going to be a local geolocation that you're going to apply a difference between the origin of your model and the map origin. So the model will be located properly. So you're kind of like manually applying the geolocation corresponding to the map origin. Okay. Again, guys need any help with these steps, just let me know and we can jump into your project and like help you with that geolocation. Cool. So these are the geolocation stuff that I have for today, but I'm going to go stop over here and see if there are any questions related to that.
There was a question. I'm having some issues with the Teams here because it's popping up on my phone, but not on the desktop. So Ben asked, does this new geolocation system get us closer to bringing in GeoTIFF images or drone orthomosaics?
That's the plan. So everything in product development, we start with like one aspect of it and then we expand. So we started with the imported models first, and then we want to make that to apply that geolocation georeferencing idea to any other objects in cmBuilder, including the images that you have. Cool.
Okay, and I think just from, if you're getting into a new project that has a local coordinate system that's being referenced from the BIM team or the BIM models, the federated models, you can just you can either follow the instructions we have on the user guide, or you can feel free to reach out to us and help you set it up the first time.
That's
so
important.
Just to reiterate.
We do have a geolocation page over here in our user guide. So you can go through these steps to check and apply these information to your model. Cool.
And there was one other question from the previous thing. I think is yes, but can you bulk edit the floor or class? I may have missed that.
Yes.
The previous one, not before the geolocation. I missed that question. Sorry. Can you bulk edit the floor or class?
Yes, you can. So like if I select like a bunch of these parts over here and I right click and do edit model elements, I can click on props and then I'm gonna bulk edit for all of them. I can put them inside one bucket. Cool.
Perfect. Yep, that's it for the question so far.